Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Frisco. Day 2 of our coverage of the FCS Championship game with North Dakota State and Jacksonville State on Saturday. Here's the video blog. Big E, we've been flanked. We found Kolpack. Everyone was wondering about that. And Mike McFeely joins us as well.
Check your nearest driving range, boys and girls.
Yeah, I guess so. And maybe that's where he was located.
Yeah, maybe.
What a glorious day. We can only hope that this might be the weather on Saturday. It does not look that promising. It's about 65 and sunny. It's fantastic down here to rub it in for those that are de-icing the plane at Hector International. Hopefully they get down here. Hopefully they can get down here to enjoy the game coming up on Saturday. All right, media session is done. Bison will practice here in just a little bit. The biggest question still all concerns with Carson Wentz. We saw him throwing yesterday. He was not made available to the media today, battling a head cold. Chris Kleiman says he will participate a bit in practice, but everybody, including the Bison players, are still in the dark about who's going to start on Saturday.
I still think it's going to be Easton Stick if you're going to put me on the spot. I just, and I have no basis on that, but he's 8-0, and the fact that there was still a doctor's appointment in question, and maybe he's got a cold thing going on it. But they put fluids and Brock Jensen on a playoff game, right? So I don't think that's going to be the big deal.
What do you make of this?
I'm with Jeff. I think Easton Stick's going to start, but I think Carson Wentz will find a way into the game, whether it's a package or something. I think they'll find a way to get him on the playing field. If he's cleared, and I think he's at the point where he probably will be medically cleared to play. And like you said, we saw him throwing the ball around a little bit yesterday. So I think Wentz will get in the game, but Stick is the starter.
How much subterfuge is this? And everybody already knows what's going to happen on Saturday.
I don't think it's subterfuge this time around. Well, there's always some subterfuge. I asked Kleiman the tough question. I said, answer my blankety-blank question. Is he going to play? And he said, I'm not going to answer your blankety-blank question. No. The only guy who seems to think he's going to play for sure, for 100% sure, is John Gross. He keeps saying, we're ready for him. He's going to play. I don't know. I'm kind of with Eric. I've been wavering all over the place. I think he's going to play. Yeah. I just don't know if he's going to start. Are we making too much of this? Are people in Fargo getting sick of us talking about this? Am I getting sick of us talking about this?
Well, John Gross, the Jacksonville State coach, said to us when we were interviewing him, if he had a decision, he'd play him. I mean, and he'd start him. It wouldn't be even a question in his mind if he was in that position.
Well, I guess the caveat is if healthy. And that's the one thing
we don't know.
No. I'm not a doctor. No. I haven't looked at x-rays. I'm not an expert on hammock bones. So I guess in Chris Kleiman's mind, I'm sure if he thinks Carson Wentz is 100% healthy, he's going to play and possibly start. But we don't know if he's 100% healthy.
That's obviously the question. Maybe we'll know by this time tomorrow. There is not a question about who the leader at running back is, Jeff, over the last month, and that's King Frazier. I'd say even the last 2 months of how hard he has run. It was a question mark for a large part of the season of who is going to be the guy, who is going to be that number one tailback, but Frazier has taken over that job.
They so desperately wanted the next John Crockett, the next, you could go down the line and even starting with Tyler Rowe back in the reclassification. So I asked Chris Kleiman today, I go, what do you mean by running harder? So it's been a more definition. He's hitting the hole harder. He's breaking tackles. Remember we were talking halfway through the year, especially after the South Dakota game, nobody's breaking tackles. And it really took Easton Stick, I think, the quarterback, almost to show the way on what's it like to run for 100 yards. And since then, I think King Frazier has been the guy. You know, he's been in touch with John Crockett this week, and they text back and forth. Crockett's no longer here, but I think Frazier has been that next guy.
You look at, this is our first real interaction we've had with Jacksonville State, Big E, and they are confident, they are a big team, and they deserve all the credit in the world for being the number one team in the nation majority of the season. But they told me, they're embracing being the underdog, considering I think everybody and their brother is picking NDSU maybe to win the game.
And all the players I talked to, they're like, we're up for the challenge. We respect what NDSU has done. The players I talked to said they don't feel slighted at the attention that NDSU's had. Chris Landrum said, well, they've won 4 national championships in a row. They deserve the praise they get. In the same respect, like I said, they're not like shying away from it. They're embracing the challenge. You have guys like Chris Landrum who played at Auburn. They have 3 FBS SEC transfers on the defensive line. So they got athletes like quarterback like Eli Jenkins who, depending on which Bison player you talk to, reminded them of like a Trey Roberson and even an Aaron Bailey comparison. So they've got playmakers on both sides of the ball.
Mike, Jeff and I have talked about this. How much is the experience factor for NDSU and the non for Jacksonville State? Is it too much of a deal, or is it something we're making up, or is it actual advantage?
I don't think it's too big of a deal. I don't think you're making too much out of it. I do think that North Dakota State has a distinct advantage, having been here 4 previous years. You have to, right? I mean, it can't hurt. And Jacksonville State is going through this for the first time, and there has to be something in there where things didn't go quite right for them, or they didn't quite know the formula. NDSU has the formula down. Now, all of that being said, Jeff often says that teams pass the eye test. And today we got to stand next to Jacksonville. They passed the eye test, man. I mean, they are big, athletic guys. And they weren't overly cocky. You know, all this fan stuff, all this Twitter war, all this garbage that's out there. The players seem to be very humble. Of course they're confident. They're playing for national championship. If you're not, you got a problem, right? It's going to be... It'll be a great football game on Saturday. I think it's two pretty darn good teams.
I agree with that. I didn't sense a cockiness or they were assured of themselves, and they should be. They won 13 games this season, and they didn't lose a game against FCS competition.
No, again, I had the same feeling. You know, Tremaine Pope, what a good guy. Mm-hmm. He's just talking about, you know, some of the things that he's learned over the year. That guy wasn't recruited out of high school, and he was the Alabama running back of the year by one organization. So it gives you a sense of the talent, I think, with that team. That's just a well-balanced team. I think, okay, here's another running back coming in NDSU. Yep. You had Tim Flanders in 11-12. You had Terrence West from Towson in 13. You had Coppridge last year, all in title games. So here's another title game where NDSU is going to face a top-notch back.
In all of those games, none of those guys have done anything. I mean, Coppridge was okay last year, but Terrence West scored a touchdown, but none of the what they had done prior coming into the FCS championship game.
And that is NDSU's defensive line. You know, that in those years it got better as the season progressed, and we've seen that, I think, again this year.
Biggest takeaway from you today, from what you saw from visiting with both teams?
Well, getting back to the whole defensive thing, Eli Jenkins, I talked to MJ Stump, and he just talked about tackling. NDSU's defense has to tackle like they've been tackling this entire playoffs. When you got guys like Eli Jenkins, Pope, you know, Barge at wide receiver, if you tackle, that makes a huge difference. And that's something we saw in the Northern Iowa game where Aaron Bailey didn't get out and make the big play, and NDSU's got to play at that level again defensively.
We expect, Mike, that's the other big question before we wrap it up here, is the amount of people, amount of fans, and, you know, I don't mean to make light of it, that people trying to get out of Fargo, but I wonder what that impact will be if there are delayed flights for people to get down here on Saturday.
Cushion, though, because it's only Thursday as we do this, and they'll have a little bit of time to get out of Fargo, hopefully. I know that they have, I think, de-icer now. The last we heard out of Fargo is they're moving planes out of Fargo. But then I've also heard of people being delayed out of Chicago as well. And so it seems like it's almost an annual thing that there's some bad weather. Bison fans always seem to get down here one way or another. There'll still be 15,000 Bison fans down here. It'll all work out just fine on that front. And by the way, if you can get down here, I'm having trouble here because there's a ball of fire in the sky that I can't see right. I'm like burning in my face and I can't see. So the weather today and tomorrow, fantastic. Saturday, not so much, but it's a football game.
The field looks fantastic as we look at it right now.
Well, Kolpack forgot the cowboy hat and shades he had as we disembarked from the plane.
I'm just waiting on this.
Okay? Oh, it's coming down the pipe.
When it's overcast, Kolpack wears shades. When the sun is shining brightly from the sky, nothing.
Let's just talk about the game.
All right,
by the way, Bison Rubes, I have yet to receive my Coastal Carolina
t-shirt. I know. What's that about?
These guys they're yapping their mouths on Twitter. You know who you're talking about, Prothero.
Either that or your red Jacksonville State shirt that's coming your way, right?
By the way, I
figured that might be.
That was Scott, I think, did that.
That might be coming out on Friday.
I want my Coastal Carolina Chanticleer cap to block the sun down here. So get on it.
Well, there you have it, folks. Day 2 of our video blog coverage. We'll be back tomorrow. Last chance to visit with the players for the big game on Saturday. For Mike McFeely, Eric Peterson, and Jeff Kolpack, I'm Dom Izzo. We'll see you tomorrow here from Frisco.